All right. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining me today. Melissa here. I wanted to talk about what I have been up to. So, I went to a big event conference, lots of Christians. It was interesting, very interesting. So, as I'm waking up here and headed to work, I've been sick, but I did go there. And it is interesting to see how the other half of the world lives. This was a whole different world to me, something I had never heard of. A lot of good principles, books recommended. Robert Kawasaki was recommended, some other ones. I had heard of one of them about, what was it, the richest man, Babylon, the richest man or something. I don't know, it's written down. But there was one he was talking about that this guy went around and asked the richest people in the world what they all did, and the answers were similar. So I did get a lot of, what's the word? A lot of information out of this, and just really being around people who think differently is just amazing. So, that was one of my birthday gifts to myself. My birthday is this Saturday, and then my other gift is starting tomorrow. I will be in another 3-day conference, and that is about real estate. So I took a real estate class with KW, 2022 in the hotel, and homeschooling in a hotel while I was moving over here. And while the market crashed, while COVID hit, while the whole housing market closed. And so when I got here, PSI lost my results. And I didn't want to go back into real estate. I was like, no, thank you. You know, the market's awful. I don't want to go back into it. So I am going to take another class into that along with my business. So the 3 ways, my throat is a little sore. The 3 ways you can build wealth beyond the normal employee job is your business. And there's a quadrant, right? You're either an employee or a business owner, which you're really not in a good place still because you don't have any employees. So you're just trading your time for money. And then there is you have others working for you while you sit back and collect a check a little bit more. And then you have investor. So it was really interesting to me to look into that. Or you have real estate, you know how to flip houses, or you're a landlord, you have passive income, or YouTube, or a book, or some sort of passive income. Or you're an investor and you know what you're doing. These classes were very expensive. Wow, no guarantee you're going to do good. So anyways, I did that. I did meet a couple people. I witnessed to a man in the restaurant about Jesus. He had his beliefs, and then he said God would never send someone to hell. And I said Jesus actually talked about that quite a bit in the Bible. So that was interesting. And then I met someone else who didn't really think the New Testament belonged in the Bible. So standing for my faith with some of the people that went there. So we are seeing also everyone go crazy with SNAP benefits being taken away. This was kind of a funny story. Last night I was watching this guy from Boston talking about Market Basket in the news again. This time, though, it wasn't about Artie. It was about women stealing lobster meat and prime ribs and hitting the baggers over the head with prime rib because they got caught stealing. So we're looking at the economy just looking to, just go down in so many ways. My son went to the local gas station and said, there's a sign now that says, they don't take pennies anymore because pennies aren't being made. And I'm like, what? We've heard this for a while, but now it's coming true. And our economy is just a mess. And it was interesting to hear this guy talk who's from my neck of the woods. In this 3-day conference. He's from Boston. He's in my neck of the woods, and we were talking about all this stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I've been skiing over by the Old Man of the Mountain, and I've been I know where Manchester is. My dad had a house right on Pembroke Academy. I'm like, oh, that's right where I went to school, Pembroke Academy. The house was on Academy Road in Pembroke. So we had a lot in common. And, it was very good to hear, what he sees, the big picture in the market and, the stocks falling. And usually, in theory, it's every 9 years, but it's been 14 years. And just to really, connect with other people who, see things, see kind of the big picture, the eagle's view of everything. So I did talk to a guy about some stuff, and he's like, I think all the stores are going to close. People are going to loot, possibly. I mean, there's some conspiracy theories out there too, right? That, possibly nobody will be able to get food unless it's on Amazon, and then you have to have crypto and all this stuff. So it's just interesting to be in that world. So yeah, so I learned a lot. But anyways, the real estate class is coming up the next 3 days, and I will be giving that to myself for my birthday gift, because it's very important to continue your education always, ladies. Always do that. And as far as pro-life stuff, this guy was from Boston, and he appreciated my roots, and he was same blood. He's like, when I grew up, everybody was super judgmental, very critical. Same world I grew up with. And that is a lot of the reasons why women have abortions. It's not even the money. It's the shame they're going to feel, the critical spirit, the you're in trouble, and what were you thinking kind of thing. So he became a believer, and he was talking about how he used to cuss all the time, and now as a believer he's cleaned up his life, and just the same exact 70s and 80s kind of culture that I grew up in. And I said, you remind me of Rocky Balboa. Same mannerism. He was going around telling people about his nose, how many times his nose broke. So he did an Adrian and Rocky little script for me from the movies and wished me a happy birthday. So I did appreciate going there. So yeah, guys, it's important when we talk about abortion to remember that critical spirit is really what we're seeing that causes women to hide and to, other people to save face. And we still see it on social media, like, don't open your legs up if you don't want to be pregnant. Girls just don't know what they don't know sometimes. So that's my take, and I got to run and get to work. And also, yesterday I had someone offer me work as an independent contractor, but I looked at the contract and it said, if we take you to court, you have to pay for all of our fees if anything comes up with this job. As an independent contractor, they can't do that. I'm like, there would have to be proven misconduct, and da-da-da. So they're like, well, let us change the wording for you. And that's just the company wanting to put all responsibility on you instead of the company having some responsibility on their own. And they cannot treat you as an employee if you are an independent contractor. So be careful what you sign, ladies. And I just feel like I have learned a lot in the last 3 days.